Do you ever feel like you're not getting anywhere with your autistic or ADHD kiddo? Let's talk about it because you actually probably are. Um, let's learn all about small wins, how to track them, how to acknowledge them, how to make them count. Let's do it. Welcome to the Autism Diagnosis to Confident Mom podcast with Kira from Kira Brown Coaching. I'm a mom of neurospicy kids and a life coach. I'm here to share real tips and support to help you feel confident as a parent. Sometimes life feels like we're not getting anywhere, and this was the case for us. We were having everybody over. It was a family gathering. We were playing board games. And my autistic / ADHD son got really mad. He didn't win. He thought somebody was cheating. I don't remember. And he stormed off to his room. And I thought, here we go again. Later, he came out and he played some more games. And I didn't think much about it at all. But later, I was talking to my mom, and she was like, your son is coming so far. He's making such great progress. And I thought, what are you talking about? She's like, today, playing games. He got mad. He excused himself, calmed down, and came back. And he was gone for less time than he used to would have been. And I was like, oh, you're so right. Those are small wins. We need to take those on. Sometimes small wins are hard to see. As a parent of a neurodivergent kid, we are constantly making decisions. We have a lot of emotional labor that's going on that's invisible and silent. We're trying to regulate ourselves on top of regulating them. And let's be honest, big wins don't come along every day. They aren't real prevalent in our lives. And so we forget the progress is often invisible. It looks invisible. You can't take a picture of it. It's not an award for most improved student. It's not holding it together at a social outing. Those big wins are not as common. We usually have little wins or small wins. So let's just remember that small wins isn't settling for less. They're evidence that we're making progress towards those big wins. So why are small wins so easy to miss? Executive dysfunction makes tracking progress hard. I also have ADHD, and so I'm not good at tracking things all the time. I want to think in always and never. This always happens. He never behaves appropriately. But realistically, there are subtle changes. Time blindness can blur before and after. We forget what it used to be like and what it's like now after. Perfectionism minimizes anything that isn't dramatic. So these kiddos have a perfectionistic tendency, and we've talked about that before. You can go back and look, but in previous podcasts, I don't remember what number right off the top of my head, but we think it needs to be dramatic to be a win, and it doesn't. Little things count. And we are burnt out as neurospicy kids and as parents of neurospicy kids. And so it's hard to feel pride when we're burnt out, when we're exhausted, but it's still deserved. We still deserve to feel pride and to have wins. Remember, our brains are designed to scan for problems. It's meant to keep us safe, and if it's not aware of the problems, it can't keep us safe. And so it's our natural tendency to look for the problems rather than the progress. And so it's just human nature to miss those small wins. What counts as a small win? Things your brain might be ignoring. Those are what things that count as small wins. So, I talked about with my son earlier, the fact that he got up and dismissed himself when he got angry was a win. The fact that he was gone for a shorter amount of time was a win. The fact that he came back calmly and played again was a win. So let's think about some of these things. How long are your meltdowns lasting? Do you time them? It seems tedious, but if you want to see a win, time them, because they feel like forever, whether they're 2 minutes or 45 minutes. But if we time them, you might see over time that they're getting shorter. Or maybe we'll see that they're getting longer, and then we have data to help us there too. But chances are they're getting shorter and we just don't realize it. Are you staying calmer than you did the last time there was a meltdown or an issue? Are you calmer? Did you come back and say you're sorry after you yelled? That's a small win. Did your child try something new? Did your child think about trying something new? Did your child want to try something new? Those are all small wins. Did you notice a trigger before it became a problem, either for you or your child? Did you notice a trigger before it happened? That's a small win. Even if you weren't able to prevent it, you noticed it. Did you notice the trigger after it happened? Did you put the aha moment? Oh, that happened because this happened. That's a small win. Did you ask for help? Did your child ask for help? Even if it's not in a, hey, would you please help me do XYZ? Even if it's a, give me a snack. That's still them advocating for themselves. That's still a small win. And did you stop pushing and choose connection with your child? Did you stop pushing for that perfection in behavior and choose to connect with them? That's a small win. These are just a few ideas of small wins. There are hundreds, thousands, millions of small wins out there for these kiddos, and we need to look for them. What we're looking for is the effort. Are they putting in an effort? That's what counts. Those are the small wins. And when we celebrate these small wins, we are helping to regulate them. Celebrating small wins supports regulation. So when we celebrate a small win, and point it out to your kid when they have a small win. Point it out to your kid when you have a small win. Hey, mom kept her patience and she's so proud of herself. Celebrate those small wins because that trains your brain to notice safety, to notice that things are going right. It also builds emotional resilience for you and your child when you notice small wins. It reduces shame and increases self-trust. These things are all very important. And kids notice what we model. They always say what you do is worth more than what you say. So if they notice us noticing growth and not just a struggle, they'll start to notice growth and not just a struggle. So model small wins will help them learn to recognize their small wins. And just because they're small doesn't mean you have to have a small celebration. It can be a big celebration. So I have 5 ways to celebrate small wins. And they're simple. They're right in the moment. You don't have to make a big fanfare. You can. But at the end of the day, this is tool number 1. It's called the 10-second win. At the end of the day, I want you to just say what was one thing that was hard and I did it anyway, or they did it anyway. And you can have your child answer this and you can answer it for yourself. You guys could even do this together. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to. Just think it, acknowledge it out loud, say it out loud. I stayed calmer today than I did yesterday when things got hard. There you go. You acknowledged your small win. Good job. So just acknowledge it. It takes you 10 seconds at the end of the day. You can do this when you tuck your child into bed at night as part of your bedtime routine. You can say this to yourself in the mirror as you brush your teeth. You can discuss it with your partner as you're going to bed. You decide. You can attach it to something else so you can remember to do it. You can set a timer to remind you to do it. You could do it at dinner time. There are lots of places that you can attach that little habit to make it part of your life. Tool number 2, recognize regulation-based wins instead of behavior-based wins. So celebrate things like a calm return, a recovery time, communication attempts. It doesn't mean that they have to be professionals at communicating, but did they attempt to communicate? Did they attempt to show you what they needed? That's a communication attempt. We want to do those kinds of things rather than they complied. They had perfect behavior. They were quiet. Those are behavior-based. We want regulation-based attempts, wins. Those are the things that we can win in. Tool number 3, win pairing. So pair the win with something neutral or pleasant. Give yourself a mini reward. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give them a high five. Take a deep breath. Say, awesome job, Kira. You did it. Even if it's in your mind, tell yourself that. Tell them, good job. Get excited. Do excited hands. Whatever you want to do. But this helps your nervous system register that you're winning, that you're doing better. So win pairing is what that tool is called. Tool number 4, borrowed memory. Every day isn't going to be great. Every day is going to be hard to find a win. It might be. And so we just borrow a win from the past. You might say something like, this has been impossible before and we survived it. We'll do it again. We're making progress. He's able to sometimes communicate his needs. Borrow a win from the past if today is hard, because we all know we have those hard days. Tool number 5, the still counts rule. It doesn't matter if it happened late. It doesn't matter if the win was messy. It doesn't matter if the win didn't feel good. It still counts. Count the win. So for my son, back to the playing the game example, it was messy and it was late. He had a meltdown, but he pulled himself together and came back. It still looked messy, but it was still a win. My brain wanted to be like, that wasn't a win. He still had a meltdown. He still had a win because he was able to calm himself down without my assistance. That's a huge win in my book. So it still counts. Even if it doesn't look like we thought it should look, it still counts. And when it feels like there were no wins, just remember, some days the wins are everybody was safe today. Everybody's still alive. Nobody died. You didn't give up. Or maybe it was we rested today. We took a day off to rest. And that resting can be a win. It's important. Survival is not a failure. It's information. And sometimes we just have survival days, and that's a win. To acknowledge that we've met our max and we need to just step back for a moment. We can't do it. We need a break. We're going to watch TV. and we're going to start over tomorrow. That's a win, to realize that you're at your max. Because I don't know about you, but when I reach my max and I keep trying to push, I turn into an ugly mom. I'm not patient. I'm not kind. I'm not. So it's a win when I say, I've reached my max for today. We're going to watch TV until bedtime. We're just going to do it. So just remember, things that don't seem like wins are wins too. Just remember, you're parenting in a system that wasn't built for you or your child, and progress is measured in things like trust and safety and repair. Small wins are how resilience is built, slowly and sustainably. Small wins make progress. One of my favorite mantras, and I have used it for years, one of my favorite thoughts is slow and steady wins the race. And that counts so much with our kiddos. Slow and steady wins the race. We're not looking to perfect something overnight. We're looking for slow and steady wins the race. And we need to remember that that progress is not perfectly linear up. It's not consistent. It's kind of like losing weight. It'll go up for a while and then it'll dip down, and then it'll go up a little bit more and then it will dip down, and then it will go up and then it will dip down. But if we look at the overall trend, we're looking for progress over the overall trend. So if we regress a little bit for a day, it's not the end of the world. If we regress for a few weeks or months, it's not the end of the world. What is the overall trend? Where did we start when we first had a diagnosis? Where did we start before we had a diagnosis? Where are we now? So let's look at the overall picture. You don't need a breakthrough. You don't need recognition. You're already doing great. Recognize yourself. Acknowledge the small wins. It'll be life-changing. You've got this, Mama. You're doing better than you think. Thanks so much for listening to Autism Diagnosis to Confident Mom. If this episode helped you feel a little more seen or supported, please take a moment to like, follow, or subscribe to the podcast. And if you know another parent who needs to hear this, share it with them too. We're all in this together. You're doing better than you think, Mama. You've got this.